Hello and welcome to the latest installment of HFW Industry Insights, where we speak to leading figures across HFW's core sectors about the key issues facing their business and the wider market. Our guest today is Melis Mani, who heads the Vienna office of the International Legal and PPP Department at Strabag, one of Europe's largest construction groups. Melis has more than 15 years' experience in the construction industry, advising on major projects throughout Europe, the Middle East, Australia, Africa, the UK, and North America. Melis, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. It's very nice to meet you, and it's very nice to be here.
It's a pleasure. So, Melis, can we start by you telling us a little bit more about Strabag, its approach to legal services, which I think is different to other companies?
Of course, thank you. I think it's a bit different as well. As you have mentioned, Strabag is one of the biggest, largest construction companies in Europe. Likewise, the legal department, which is called CML, so contract management and legal services together, has a very big group of people that is providing service to the Strabag group, to the operatives. What makes us, I think, a bit different than what I have seen in the other in-house teams is that we provide a one-stop shop for our customers, our internal operatives. So contract management and legal teams are always working together. We have more than 300 people all across the world. As you mentioned, Strabag has a lot of projects everywhere in every continent. So as CML legal department, we have either local entities or offices in more or less every continent of the world. So if we have a big existence, for example, like in Germany, Austria, Poland, UK, which are some of our core markets, we have local CML units, which are taken care by local lawyers. And then we have other CML units which are specialized on corporate law, compliance, GDPR, digitalization, etc. And then we have the department that I am also part of, CML International. We are taking care of the jurisdictions where we do not have local existence, but we are there through satellite offices, which are, for example, Africa, Middle East, Australia, Singapore, Asia, either through our colleagues in Vienna, in Austria, or some of our offices in some of these jurisdictions. So we try to be a proper business partner to our operative units, and not only purely legal aspect, but also from practice and from the understanding of commercial point of view as well. We try to be a one-stop shop from the start of the bid, negotiation, during the project execution, and then, of course, dispute resolution.
So as you've said, you support projects across some very different regions, Middle East, Africa, Australia. So how do you navigate the different legal systems, cultures, and business practices across those different jurisdictions in your contracts and projects?
It is indeed very different, not only in terms of the forms of contracts or the legal system that are being used in these jurisdictions. For example, in Middle East, we see a lot of FIDIC, whereas in Australia, they have their own standard forms, or in Canada, they have their own standard forms. But also negotiation, how they negotiate contracts are very different, or their demeanor towards claims are very different, or disputes are very different. So it is a bit of a challenge indeed. What we try to do is, so we have a global view of some of the major risk allocations. We do this, let's say, from our know-how, from our global view of how we want to take the risks as a company, and these are more centralized. And then our idea is to support our local teams, or the colleagues that are providing support for these local teams in terms of that specific need of that country, whether it's how they negotiate contracts or it is a very specific risk allocation that is typical for that jurisdiction. For example, maybe in some jurisdictions, it's very common that civil works contractor don't take fitness for purpose, whereas in some jurisdictions, it's a very usual that they do take fitness for purpose. So we try, before we enter into a market, before we start our support, we try to inform ourselves very well, either through reading or through going to seminars or through a lot of good local lawyers, big construction law firms. We try to inform ourselves so we can pass this knowledge, we can pass this support to our local operatives. So this is how we try to navigate these differences.
Construction projects, they involve very often multi-party contracts, tight timelines. How do you balance legal risk management with the commercial realities that are facing contractors?
I think as an in-house legal team, our role is not to stop a project, or our role is not to eliminate all the risks in a contract, which is either is not possible anyway, it's impossible, or if you would do, probably you would not get any project. So what we want to do is we want to have a realistic approach with the idea, with the risk appetite of our own operative, of our own company, and we try to make aware our operative units of the commercial and the legal risks, and we try to shift these risks in a quantifiable or mitigatable manner in the contracts. Basically, this is how we try to approach. So we have our own risk and chances matrix, which are also centralized, and then there we have some points that are led by legal and that are either no-go, or it is up to us to decide if we can take the risk or not, depending on the need of that specific projects. And then there are a lot of items where we sit down with the commercial units or with the finance units to see how we can mitigate them, how we can put them in a quantifiable manner. And then there are some risks that we just support the operative units with our information, but they take the lead on them because it's less risky, or it's very clear. Let's say liquidated damages, how much it should be, etc. So we try to navigate this like this.
So at HFW, we pride ourselves in our industry expertise. As an in-house lawyer, how important is it that you understand not just the law, but also the commercial aspects of the business and the wider industry?
I think as in-house or as external, I don't think it's a matter of importance or not per se, but I think it's very essential to be as a lawyer, as a legal team, as a contract manager, to be taken as a valuable partner to the project team, to be taken on board properly for the project team to share with you everything. I think you have to understand some of the technical and commercial aspects of a construction project. You have to be able to speak same or similar language with your project manager, or at least you have to show willingness to understand from their point of view. When they talk about liquidated damages, when they talk about critical path or change orders, you cannot just come from a very purely legal perspective. This is written on the contract, and this is the very theoretical legal explanation. It doesn't work like this in this market, in this practice. So I think it's a very essential aspect for all of us in this industry.
Arbitration is a significant part of your role. How do you see the use of arbitration evolving in the construction industry? Are there trends that contractors ought to be aware of?
I think arbitration is still the most common way that is used for disputes, at least in the ones that I come across so far. It is confidential. You get to choose your experts. You are able to navigate an arbitrator that has a good understanding of a very big construction project. There are a lot of good practitioners out there. You can choose your external counsel. So I think arbitration is still the most used dispute resolution, but I take it a bit of a grain of salt to say, because it is expensive and it is very time consuming. We have cases that take several years to get a decision, and the enforcement, especially in some of the jurisdictions that we are working, is not so easy. So you may end up with a very good arbitration decision where you cannot enforce. So for me, what we have to also take a look and to consider is other dispute resolution methods. For example, litigation for me is always still on the table, depending on the jurisdiction and the content of the dispute. DBs, dispute boards, dispute adjudication boards, and the variations of it, they are very useful. They provide us very on-site, on-time solutions during the project. So this is always good to have. And of course, always mediation and settlement options are very much to be considered. So I would always suggest like a multi-step arbitration or multi-step dispute resolution clauses. And I would always consider other options before going all the way to arbitration, unless the relations are very deteriorated or there is no way of coming close to what each party wants. And also, I think one of the rising issues that we have to take into consideration is digitalization and AI. It's very much used. It's here. It's not going anywhere. We have to inform ourselves. We have to use it wisely, in a manner that we are able to benefit. So this is my opinion on the arbitration.
What would you say is the biggest challenge facing the global construction industry today, and what can contractors do to navigate it?
I think low productivity growth compared to other sectors is a big challenge. Rising material costs, the complexity of mega projects is a very big challenge at the moment. Globalization allows us to do many things all across the world, but it comes with its complexities. Maybe sometimes a remote event happens somewhere in the world, affects your project more than you could ever imagine. And I think one other thing is the very thin profit margins and aggressive risk allocation choices is affecting construction industry a lot. And one other thing I would say is, I think it's been going on several years now, also skilled workers, lack of skilled workers or not having as many is one of the issues. I think the construction companies have to maybe start focusing on collaborative contracts. They need to find out what to invest in, how much they want to invest in, and maybe start changing the strategy of their business could be some of the ways.
So those are the challenges. Is there a single big opportunity or opportunities? What do you think they might be?
I think sustainability is a big opportunity. Decarbonization is a big opportunity. And for companies to find their niche in this area and find their technology and what they can provide for the employers, for the clients, could be a big opportunity.
Melis, we're going to finish with some quick-fire questions. What's your proudest professional moment?
I cannot tell you one event particularly, but I'm very proud when my team members tell me that I'm a good leader, that they can feel good, safe, and supported. I think this is one of the biggest satisfactions as a team member for me.
And what advice would you give to a young lawyer coming into the construction industry today?
I would tell them to specialize on one of the areas that they are interested in, to inform themselves, to work and improve themselves and their knowledge as much as possible, and not to miss the upcoming trends and what's happening around them, and not just to let's say bury themselves in their own little world, but to be aware of what is happening in the sector.
And what is harder to learn, the law or playing the accordion?
Both. I cannot choose now, but I'm still going on with the accordion. So,
Melis, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was very nice too.